First of all, that I apologize that this week actually, there was on same workshop, so that's why I missed some of the class. So that with that continuation, that I'll start in details first that PVD, and today after the class, I'll send that Utsav that one book. So if someone wants actually that you can collect that ebook from him, okay? And some of that study material also I'll put today in that Moodle. So last class I discussed about the physical vapor deposition. Just recap of the last class. In physical vapor deposition, what happened? That this is actually one crucible or one board kind of thing. So they are actually, let's say you want to deposit silver. So silver piece, small pieces of silver actually you need to put it, and then resistive heating actually it will melt. And first you need to put the silver here, substrate on top. You have to put the substrate. Then entire chamber, you have to close it and need to do the vacuum. When high vacuum will reach, then only operation will be started. And here that heater actually, you need to start the heater first. And with this heater, this silver will melt and it will evaporate. Then it will condense. That evaporation, this evaporated silver atom will condense on that substrate. Okay. And there will be one thickness monitoring instrument just near to substrate. So that will actually indirectly it will measure the thickness of the film. So whenever idea is that whenever it will be deposited on the substrate, same time it will be deposited on that digital thickness monitoring instrument. And this is that basic things. Now actually I'll come in details that processing. So steps of thin film growth. So this part actually is very important. So these are actually 6 different stages are there. So let's understand that one by one what is happening in thin film growth. So first actually one is that adsorption. So as I told that this atom actually will come, atom will have a high velocity and it will come and sit on that substrate. So initially it can't sit because it has a high velocity. So it will actually like when one flight land on the airport, immediately it can't stop. It need to run some distance. Then only actually it can stop itself. So same thing here itself, it's happening. So first actually adsorption. So adsorption, you can see that atoms are coming on top of the substrate. Then second is the surface diffusion. So this surface diffusion is very important. And first to understand stage 1 adsorption, we can call it physiabsorption, and then actually surface diffusion, so it will diffuse on the surface, and then until unless it will be chemiabsorbed. So when chemiabsorbed, we call it, that is actually surface diffusion is 2, and stage 3, that is actually chemical bond formation or chemiabsorption. Okay, so once it's chemiabsorbed, then actually it will be kind of stable. But there is another one possibility that after physiabsorption, then it will actually surface diffusion and it can dissolve. That is also another one possibility is there. Then stage 4, that is actually when chemiabsorbed, then atom, according to the nature of the atom, it will try to nucleate, and that is actually stage 4. Okay, so it will nucleation will form, and of course the heterogeneous nucleation, because this is actually surface driven, and then actually microstructure formation. So microstructure formation is stage 5. There actually will get the crystal structure. And another one thing, like actually, let's say that if you just whenever one new building is built up, let's say that one 10-story building is built up, and when you are making when that pavement is made, it is very difficult to assume that it will one day there actually one 10-story building will build. Same thing here. That microstructure formation, they are actually in thin film. Just you can say that this is actually pavement of a 10-story building. Okay, but it will retain the same crystal structure, whatever will be having this mother structure. So that's why that in thin film, I'll talk about thin film. Actually, if you want to identify the crystal structure, if you, let's say that you have deposited one film, and if you want to measure that crystallinity of that film, you should not go for powder XRD, because in powder XRD what will happen that there actually is a bulk sample, so penetration will be more, and this actually the incident beam actually will fall and it will penetrate. But in thin film, we need actually grazing incident angle XRD, okay, called GI XRD. So special XRD, so in that XRD, what will happen that 2 to 3 degree angle that it on the surface actually that incident beam will fall, so that you will get the information from the surface only. It will not penetrate too much, and you may not get the information from the bulk. Okay, so that is one thing. So these things actually is very important. Okay, and also another one thing. Let's say that you are depositing, let's say TiO2, and so if you want to do the XRD, what will be your approach? These things actually very important when you talk about the microstructure development. First, you should do powder XRD. So in the powder XRD of TiO2, let's say that same powder TiO2 if you take, so this powder XRD, you will get the all combination of peak, whatever possible peak, it will appear in powder XRD. Second, you have to do the film with film and substrate, that combination, that grazing angle XRD. Then you have to do that XRD of grazing angle XRD of this substrate. Then what will happen? Why three time actually I need to do the XRD? So one by one I'm explaining, like crystal structure I'm talking about. But as I told, that 10-story building just build up. So then why 3 XRD? So if you do the surface, substrate XRD, some peak may come from the substrate. So you'll be knowing what are the peaks are coming from the substrate. That is actually will be nullified. So if you do that sample XRD, means your film XRD, one peak if it comes from the substrate can be identified. Second, powdered XRD, if you have the data, you know what are the possible peaks. And all the peak may not come in thin film XRD, because in thin film XRD, as I told, that this is actually just once 10-story building, you are in the pavement. So most of the crystal structure is about to form. So they may not, like most of the planes actually may not appear. Okay, but whatever the high intensity peak, that is always will appear. So that's why this is this approach. Okay, so you understand this point? Nitin, understand?
Yes. Yes, sir, yes.
Louder. I can't hear.
Am I audible?
Understand? Yeah. Now it's clear.
Yes.
Yes, audible. So you understand the logic that why to understand the crystal structure, why 3 XRD?
Excuse me,
please,
sir.
Please. Yeah, please.
Sir,
Continue.
in the sixth part, bulk changes, diffusion and grain growth, like, is it a necessary part of like application of films, or is it like when the substrate is having some like dislocation, something this happens?
Actually, it's a good point. But it's sometimes inevitable. Like actually, the stage 6 actually, this diffusion as well as the grain growth, that is not always will happen, but grain growth will happen sometimes. You can control, but diffusion actually there is a chance sometime may happen if you have a high temperature on the substrate. Okay, like
Sir, but
actually
it's not
in
good,
chemical
right?
reparticle.
It's not good, right?
It's not.
Is it like good for the longevity of?
No. That surface diffusion is not at all good. In fact, that in stage 5, you want crystal structure, you don't want defect, right?
Yes, sir.
But that is also will form.
Oh,
that is
okay,
also
sir.
will form, because that and you know that some defects are inevitable. Like
Yeah.
let's say that grain will form. So grain boundary, of course, will form.
Yes,
Because
sir.
at the beginning, and later on I'll talk about it, at the beginning actually what will happen there, actually this is called bottom up approach. Like individual atom is connecting, and that they will
Right.
form the grain, and when the grain will form, of course there will be a grain boundary.
Okay, sir.
So these things, but diffusion actually, like if you maintain the high temperature on the substrate, definitely that will happen. But grain growth actually, it will happen, grain growth.
Okay, sir.
But this XRD part, it's clear. Why 3 XRD? It is clear that why 3 XRD is required. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so because that this time actually in the exam I'll ask some of the questions like this practical question. Okay, so then actually last stage is that bulk changes. They are actually diffusion sometimes may happen according to the substrate temperature and grain growth. So whatever grain will be formed, that grain actually will slowly grow. Okay, so that's why actually I mean thin film. If you see that by using atomic force microscopy, if you see the surface topography, sometimes it looks different. But if you see the cross-sectional SEM, it looks different. Okay. So, so in characterization part, I will talk about. Now, actually, let's come to that this adatom. This is actually one of the important terminology that when an atom impinge on the flat terrace, the atom makes only a few bonds with underlying atom. And the bond connection is so weak that atom can migrate on that surface. So this atom actually, it's not a part of substrate and film not yet formed. So that's why in this situation, this atom, we call it adatom. Okay, so this adatom actually, it may go also sometimes. There is no guarantee that it will be there. If I maintain the substrate temperature high, so atom may actually dissolve from the substrate. So you can see here, this one atom actually, when it's coming, this atom first, this is that atom, this is coming, and this atom is moving. But this atom, wherever it's sitting, it will try to make a bond with that bottom, that substrate atom. Okay. And then actually in diffusion, wherever it is going, it is try to make the bond, possible bond. So now first stage is that physiabsorption. So physiabsorption, that is actually, I mean, an approaching atom can either reflect it or absorb. So there are two possibilities. It could be, and this is actually, I'm sorry, actually, this is not absorbed, it will be adsorbed. So I mean, I'll make the changes. This will be adsorbed. So it can be reflected or it could be adsorbed on the surface. Okay. And on the surface of this substrate. And the process is dependent on this incoming flux of the atom, trapping probability, and the sticking coefficient. Okay. So incoming flux is important, and incoming flux, how do we control? Like actually we can control by the voltage change. If you change the voltage, of course that incoming flux will change. Trapping probability, the trapping probability, that is also like, let's say this, I mean, if we make that substrate temperature lower, of course the trapping probability will be higher. Then sticking coefficient, that is also, I mean, it depends on this surface or nature of that substrate, and some little bit that on substrate temperature. So this is another important, I mean, diagram. The right side you see the potential energy and the distance from the surface. So when distance from the surface is high, these atoms are actually coming, and then first is the physiabsorption. And if you see the first well, energy well, that is actually basically the physiabsorption. Okay, and then it will adsorb, physiabsorb. Then again one energy barrier is there. It need to cross, then only it will be chemiabsorb. And this EA is actually called this activation energy or energy barrier. So physiabsorb, it will be easily can be physiabsorb, but chemiabsorb, that is actually not easily possible. And you can see that actually whatever this energy is required for physiabsorption, only 0.25 electron volt, but in chemiabsorb, adsorb that 1 to 10 electron volt. So that means atom can physiabsorb easily, but there is no guarantee that actually it will chemiabsorb on the surface. Okay. So this is actually this very important, and this when physiabsorb, that distance from the surface is high. When it's chemiabsorb, distance from the surface is low. Okay, so it means once it's chemiabsorb, it will remain on the surface. It will not further move or dissolve. So once physiabsorb, that atom can chemiabsorb or dissolve. There are two possibilities, both physiabsorption and chemiabsorption have to overcome the local energy barriers. Okay, so that is actually EA. This actually need to cross, and then only it will come to this chemiabsorb region. And the thermal desorption rate Kr of this physiabsorbed species, that is also we can define by this equation Kr equal to nu, that exponential minus EB by kBt. What are these terminology? This here actually that another one is tau r. So that is actually in the adsorption, the time, and then absorption, you can say the residence time. So residence time before desorption, how much time it will stay on the surface. And this nu is that this desorption atom frequency, and EB is the desorption energy. So EB is the desorption energy. So this is actually thermal desorption rate is actually you can calculate, and tau r, that is actually adsorption time, or this how much is the time it will stay before desorption, that is also can be calculated. Now next is that adsorption effect. So when physical or chemical adsorption is counterbalanced by this desorption, that is also will be there. And if P is the partial pressure of the atom in vapor state, K, ADS and DES, these are actually adsorption and desorption rate. Then the surface coverage, theta, this is very important because ultimately we want film. So surface coverage is very important. So this surface coverage can be expressed by this kind of complicated equation. And here the K, this capital K, what is capital K? This adsorption, this rate by desorption rate. And then P is the partial pressure, okay? And this T is this time. So this is in this expression, then if Kp is very, very greater than 1, so then what will happen? At long time, this equilibrium coverage actually is theta equal to Kp by 1 plus Kp. So that is actually that we can calculate that fractional coverage by this equation. Okay, if consider that Kp, most of the cases that Kp, capital K and capital P will be greater than, very, very greater than 1, and in that case, approximately that we can calculate this surface coverage in this way. Okay. Now the surface energy. So can you explain that how do we measure the surface energy of a substrate? What is surface energy? How do you define the surface energy? Can anyone? How do we calculate the surface energy of a substrate? Can anyone? Because that I want actually, I mean, it's not only just this, I mean, it's one-sided class. This, please actually try to answer. Your answer may be right or wrong. That does not matter, but attempt is important.
Sure, the energy possessed by the atoms at the surface of a substrate.
How do you calculate?
So maybe we can try to excite them. Okay.
How do you
The
calculate?
contact angles we measure.
No, that is contact angle. That is okay. Surface energy. In general, how to define the surface?
Basically, like provide.
What is surface?
Provide
First, you
energy.
tell what is surface.
So the externalmost layer.
Okay, I'll tell you in a different way.
The
Okay?
broken bonds are present over.
Correct. That is actually I wanted to hear. Like actually, if you surface means actually broken bond. If you know this, how many broken bonds are there? That is easy to calculate. Like actually, in a particular crystal structure, that if you know that surface, I mean, like how many actually will be the broken bond or will be contributed from the crystal lattice. Then if we know that number of broken bond, then that broken bond energy, if we calculate, and that is easy because that we know the bond energy, and then broken bond actually, if you know that, okay, how many broken bonds are there on the surface, then we can calculate that much energy will be that surface energy. Okay, because that whatever the bond, I mean, that divided by 2, that will be the broken bond energy. And if you calculate in per mole, how many numbers are the broken bond there on the surface, that energy is nothing but the surface energy. Now, in this thin film deposition, how it's linked to that thin film deposition? Because when atom is sitting on the surface, it will change the surface nature. because it's actually changing the system. So ultimately it's contribute to the surface energy. And who told that by like actually, I mean, water contact angle, that is actually correct. That is actually measured to that surface energy. Now, if I ask another question, how do you define surface tension? Can anyone? Surface tension.
The force required per unit length.
Sorry?
Force required per unit length or surface energy per unit area.
Yeah, correct. But that is actually correct. But like actually, if you tell in a easier manner, resistance to surface deformation. Correct. Surface tension is nothing but resistance to surface deformation. So if I want to deform the surface, whatever resistance, that is actually nothing but the surface tension. Is it correct or not? Are you agreed or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is because that if you learn in this manner, so it will be actually, you will remember the things, and that is actually my point. So in this case, what is happening, once atoms stick to the surface, it creates a tension in the surface and ultimately it's change. It is due to the surface atom stretching their bond in response to this absorption of the atom. It is a function of the broken bond energy that of this exposed surface atom, which depends on the crystal structure of the substrate. So that is important. According to the crystal structure of the substrate, number of bond will be decided on the surface. And here this part, one additional atom comes and sit there. Of course, it will change that surface nature. So what will happen? Surface energy will change. That is the thing. And another one thing actually, like surface energy, how to change it? There are actually several ways are there. That is, I'll discuss later. Like actually surface energy, like if you want to make one surface hydrophilic to hydrophobic, its surface energy will drastically change. So that is also in thin, before prior to the thin film deposition, this is also is done. Okay. So hydrophilic surface and hydrophobic surface, which one is having higher surface energy?
Hydrophobic.
Okay, please actually, this is, I'll just give the task to you. Next class we'll discuss. Okay, because these are actually things we need to understand. So surface diffusion, so overall surface energy can be minimized if the atom has enough energy and time to diffuse to a lower state. So surface energy, then when atom sit on the surface, then what will happen? That atom will try to diffuse, and there is a continuous that change in the surface energy until unless it rests there itself. Okay. So this diffusion rate increases with temperature. That is, of course, because we know the diffusion temperature dependent, and in this case actually surface temperature. And if we actually if we maintain this one like room temperature, then actually it will be some temperature, still it will be there. And the diffusion rate and then the diffusion length can be defined as A root over Ks T. So Ks is the diffusion rate and T is the diffusion time and A is the Hopf distance. So what is Hopf distance? Here in this slide, if you see, atom is sitting here, let's say, then it will next, and it already make a bond with the bottom atom. Then it will come here, it will make a bond here. This two again, that nearby atom. Then it will come here. So this is basically that it's changing its position here, here, here. So this movement we called it like frog jump. So that is actually called hopping. So that's why it called that Hopf distance. So this is clear. So diffusion length we can calculate by this half distance and root over Ks T, and the diffusion rate and T is the time. Now the peak in the surface diffusion, so at low temperature, this diffusion length increases with temperature. At low temperature, the diffusion length increases with temperature. That means if we slightly increase the temperature, so at low temperature means at low substrate temperature. At low substrate temperature, what will happen that if you increase that little bit the substrate temperature, diffusion length also increase. But at high temperature, if already substrate at high temperature, the desorption rate increases and overtake the absorption. Therefore, diffusion rate length decreases. Okay, so that means diffusion is a temperature dependent phenomenon. But in general, the typical diffusion length, Physi absorption 300 micrometer, chemi absorption only 5 nanometer. So now you try to correlate. In Physi absorption 300 micrometer, chemi absorption only 5 nanometer. Physi absorption, this energy 0.25 electron volt, much lower energy. And chemi absorption 1 to 10 electron volt is required for this chemi absorption. So now we can understand more energy, tight bond. So that's why that chemi absorption, the diffusion length is only 5 nanometer. So atom is kind of, it's rest on the surface. Next is that now nuclei. So when atom comes, sit there itself, now next stage will be there. This atom will try to connect, like nearby atom will connect and it will form embryo. Then when embryo will actually cross the critical size, we called it nuclei. And if it actually does not cross the critical radii of this, then what will happen? Embryo again, it will dissociate to atomic state. Okay. And a stable embryo is one which adding more molecules and decreases the Gibbs free energy. Okay. So then actually what will happen that whatever that existing, that embryo will form and then continuously there will be a addition of atom in that. And finally that when the nuclei will form, then nuclei will grow until it form a grain structure. Now there are actually, we need to see that what are the different equation for this, heterogeneous nucleation, because in this case there is actually clear-cut heterogeneous nucleation. It's a surface depend, and the nucleation depends on the relative surface energy of that various interface like substrate vapor, then film vapor, and then film substrate and film vapor. So these three actually, this surface energy we need to consider, and this is actually, see if we see that actually what is happening here in this actually this nuclei, actually you see the nuclei formation, and this is del G, that whatever that activation or barrier energy actually this is required to form that like actually heterogeneous nucleation is with this complicated equation. And this is in this equation that A1, A2, A3, these are there, and these are actually some constant. And then as I told that three terminology of this surface energy, that gamma, this film vapor, gamma surface vapor, this is actually substrate, substrate and film substrate, and this is gamma substrate vapor. Okay, and from there actually this is this one actually we can calculate, and from there then we can this is actually overall energy change. This is not that energy change is there, and this is R asterisk is that critical radii in this particular heterogeneous nucleation, and this is del G asterisk is from that derivative we can get it. This is called actually barrier, or this energy is required to get one stable nuclei, and this is overall energy equation. And from that energy equation, if you do this for derivative, and then del G del R equal to 0, if you make it, then only that you will get that del G asterisk. Okay, so this is actually, I think, in your phase transformation this was there, this part. So this is actually this R asterisk is very important. This critical radii, again, it's a temperature dependent phenomenon. On a particular temperature, there will be one particular critical radii, and until unless embryo cross this critical radii, it will never nucleate. Then this next is that kinetics of the nucleation. The nucleation rate is a product of three terminology. So this is nucleation rate. So N asterisk is the equilibrium concentration of stable nuclei, and omega is the rate at which atom impinge on a nuclei of critical radii A asterisk. So critical radii A asterisk of one particular cluster is there, and then actually atom impingement. That is actually at which rate atom is impinging. That is actually is important, and these three terminology. So N asterisk, that is equilibrium concentration of stable nuclei, and omega rate at which the impingement is happening, because there is a continuous tendency that atom will join to particular one group. So in thin film, what will happen? That few atom will form that nuclear embryo. Then when it cross the critical nuclei, it will actually it will grow, and grow how its growth is possible. Continuously atom will join in that particular community, okay, in that particular group. Then only that this is clustering will be there, and end with a stable, nuclei, and end with a grain. Okay, so then N asterisk, how do we define? Like Ns exponential minus the del G asterisk kBt. So del G asterisk, the free energy change at critical size, that is actually previous slide we have seen, and Ns is the total nuclei side density. So from there actually N asterisk we can calculate, and A asterisk we can get easily like 4 pi r square, because R we know that is a critical radii, and that is actually is A asterisk. This is this part. Okay, so with this one I just this part I finished. Next I'll move to that another one topic, that is thin film growth. And any questions so far here? Any questions, please?
Yes, sir. In the previous year, what is the gamma, sir?
Just a minute. Let me see. Which one, gamma? Gamma is the surface energy. That is actually surface energy. That actually here this I'll explain. Just a minute. Let me connect once again. Yeah. So can you see the slide now? Yeah. This slide here.
Yes.
This is actually that one nuclei form on the surface. Okay. And how that atom is coming, and this atom actually, this is actually embryo, and then this is a stable nuclei. Okay. These atoms, you see the atom is coming continuously. Now this is actually film, this is substrate, and this is vapor. So of course there will be three surface terminology. One is gamma. This is surface vapor in this direction. Okay, gamma surface vapor. In this direction, gamma film substrate. This is actually substrate vapor. This direction. In this direction, gamma film substrate, and on the top in this direction, this is film and vapor. So these three combination always will be there, and these three combination we are using. So that's why I told substrate vapor, film substrate, and film vapor. In heterogeneous nucleation, we have to consider this surface energy. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir. Yes, sir, but
Now actually yeah, please.
No, hoop distance, sir. I'm not
Which
calculation. Hoop distance. Hoop distance.
Yeah. That is actually it's here. Yeah. So this hopping actually, that hop distance A. Yeah, that is that is a good question, that how to calculate. Yeah. This is actually kind of this is I'll explain. Actually, this hop distance, that this is, let's say that this atom is coming here. Okay, atom first is land here itself, and then actually this is it move on the surface. it moves on the surface, and during actually this movement, it will actually basically do this hopping. Okay, so then from here, how much actually distance it travels, that is actually that is basically, I mean, that is we called it the total hop distance, because it's movement by hopping only. Because why that hopping? Because whenever it will sit, immediately it will form some bond on that bottom atom. Then again it will jump to the next. It will break the immediate bond, it will jump to the next. And now question is that why it's jumping? Because it has a kinetic energy. Because it's already having the kinetic energy. This substrate atom will try to make a permanent bond on it. But this atom, due to its kinetic energy, it will move. And it will move. So how it will move? So it will, whatever immediate bond that top atom or this like deposited atom, that will break the bond, immediate bond, and it will move the next because of its kinetic energy. Then again that bottom 3 atom, it will try to make a bond with this top atom. And in this way actually it will move. And that's why distance is called that hop distance, and the total entire distance we can calculate that how much is actually traveling. Okay, and also that we can calculate from here also, like I will tell you, like this is tau r. So tau r actually, if you know, like one particular how much is that traveling this atom, that is actually if you calculate that time, and then if we know the velocity of that one, then we can calculate that approximate how much distance it's there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So this is and now this one, yeah. So now actually that this part that dependence on the nucleation on the growth parameter. So immediate, what are the factors actually deciding this nucleation? One is actually substrate temperature, is very important in physical vapor deposition. Second is the deposition rate. So substrate temperature, how it actually affects critical nuclei size increases with temperature. Critical nuclei size increases with temperature. So in next slide, I think, yeah. So this is a very important diagram. This is atomic force microscopy surface topography of 0.5 nanometer thick pentacene film. What is pentacene? Is a small molecule and it forms crystalline structure. Okay, it's a basically organic material but small molecule, but it forms the crystal structure. Pentacene film grown on a 200 nanometer thick SiO2 substrate. So your film thickness is 0.5 nanometers. And at various deposition rate A is actually this set of figure is called A. A is actually various deposition rate for a fixed substrate temperature of 65. So in this case, substrate temperature is fixed at 65 and deposition rate is changing 0.15 nanometer per minute to 1.5 nanometer per minute, then 15 nanometer per minute. So deposition rate actually is changing. Okay. And second one, in this case, the 29, 60 and 80. So at different substrate temperature for a fixed deposition rate. So deposition rate I am fixing here 0.45 nanometer per minute, but I am changing the temperature. So in this study, what is observed? Like, let's say I'm giving one example. Like, let's say that in a class, okay, so let's say that if I say that, okay, that pass marks is 20. So what will happen? The majority of the student, they may pass. that is actually is happening in that 15 nanometer per minute. So higher deposition rate, critical radii requirement is decreases. So that's why majority of this, whatever embryo will form, that pass. So that's why here nuclear density became very high, and as a result, when more number of nuclei, it will end with a smaller grain size. So if I want a smaller grain size, so what I will do, I can go for a higher deposition rate. Okay, now in the first case, deposition rate is low. So if you make a very low deposition rate, so what will happen? Requirement for the critical radii will high. Let's say in a class, pass marks is, let's say, 60 out of 100. Then actually very few people will pass in that class. So that is actually happening. So those are actually having this larger size, they only can qualify. Not all embryo will, majority of the embryo may not qualify. So that is happening, and that's why here it's explaining critical nuclei size increases with temperature. Okay, so first let's talk about the deposition rate. Critical nuclei size decreases with increasing deposition rate. If we increase the deposition rate, critical nuclei size, the requirement actually decreases. And that is exactly happening in that first set of picture. So critical nuclei, in this case, whatever the critical nuclei size is less, in this case, critical nuclei size is more. Now, come to this substrate temperature, critical nuclei size increases with temperature. So critical nuclei size increases with temperature. Then what does it mean? In these three cases, deposition rate is fixed, 0.45 nanometer per minute. But if we increase the substrate temperature in physical vapor deposition, you can see that at lower substrate temperature, critical radii is less. At higher substrate temperature, critical radii is more. Again, that qualifying marks, if 20 out of 100, majority of the student will pass. If qualifying marks is, let's say, 60 or 70, very few people will pass. So that qualifying marks is actually increasing with substrate temperature. That qualifying marks means nothing but a critical radii. Okay, so that's why if you do the physical vapor deposition, these two parameters is extremely important. Now, if I want a single crystal, can anyone tell what will be my approach? Just seeing the picture. I want a single crystal. What will be my approach in deposition, in physical vapor deposition? Single crystal. How to get single crystal? In which condition? Just think about.
So,
From the figure.
so higher temperature and the lower deposition rate.
Correct. Exactly. So that is actually, if we maintain, we can go for a single crystal. Now, in other way, if I ask how to get a highly polycrystalline structure,
Higher deposition rate and lower temperature.
exactly. Okay, so this is actually very interesting. So from there, actually, you can control. So in the deposition itself, you can control that ultimate, that morphology. And now question is that you might be thinking that, is it that morphology matters? In electronics application do matter. Like I'm giving one example. Like if you deposit, let's say, one class of material that is called transparent conducting oxide. So transparent conducting oxide, like in your smartphone, one material is there called indium tin oxide. That is actually transparent conducting oxide, because in actually our smartphone, that whatever that actually displays there, they are actually one transparent electrode is required. So this kind of transparent conducting oxide material, grain boundary will be act as a scattering site for that charge carrier. What is charge carrier? Could be electron or could be hole. So what will be your approach? Charge carrier I mean, scattering should be low. How scattering can be done lesser? By reducing grain boundary area or increasing the size. So these are actually researchers are doing, playing with this material science to get, I mean, improved electronic property. Okay. So now let's come to this deposition part. Should I continue or in the next class? It's too much. So, okay, just I'll finish this slide and then I'll finish it. Okay, only this slide. This is actually very important slide. This is a 3D projection. Actually, when this real deposition time, what is happening? Kind of billiard ball. It's a billiard ball, kind of motion. Then here you can see that this is actually on dimer. Dimer means two atoms. These are actually atoms are coming. Atoms are coming on the surface, substrate surface. This is dimer formation, like two atoms, this join, and it form a dimer. Here the question is, will it be an island? So this is actually these three joined together, but it may form embryo or may, I mean, then it may slowly form that nuclei. But this is they are actually in the process of the formation. And this is one kind of island formation, and this is stable. When it's stable, you can see that atoms still continuously, that atom just touch to the island. So they are actually omega terminology used. That is actually here you can see. This is one cluster, already stable nuclei. But this atom is continuously actually coming. Some atom is jumping on top, forming the second layer. That is actually how the real deposition is happening. So second layer, here you can see this one cluster formation by one stable nuclei, then actually it's come to the top. Means second layer, as I told, you have to build one 10-story building. You are on the basement. Very difficult from that seeing the basement. Okay, one day it will be a 10-story building, but it will form. It will form with time. So here also, just it's about to form. And these all atoms, they are actually undecided till where to go. These are actually doing the diffusion. And sorry, another one point, just that whatever that you told the hop distance is not the entire distance traveled by this by that atom on the surface. Hop distance actually it will be like one particular unit of this hop distance. Let's say if it's atomic hop distance, so it will like how it's jumping. So one small unit that is called hop distance. Okay, let's say that 10 jump or 100 jump it's doing. So 100 multiply that, I mean, hop distance will be the total distance traveling like that. So this is actually this, all the atoms are on the surface. Now this, all the atom, what they will do? So they may form new nuclei, new embryo that may convert to new nuclei, or this atom may join to this already whatever got the stable nuclei. Okay, so this projection is actually how this actually thin film is growing. So the range of atom it came already, and this atom will decide that or it will make a film. Now that when we talk about the surface coverage, then actually now another question that you didn't ask, I thought actually you will be asking. In this case, there is no film. How it's written 0.5 nanometer thickness film, pentacene film? Because it's an island only, few island, right? You didn't ask this question. 0.5 nanometer thick pentacene. Here, what is happening? That we are not measuring thickness from here. This atom, the digital thickness monitoring, it is actually going and sitting there itself also. So from that digital thickness monitoring is telling 0.5 nanometer is the thickness. So it's a continuous film or it's an island. That is actually it can't tell. That is you have to observe by microscopy only. Is it clear? This part is clear?
Yes.
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 So I'll just, yeah, please ask. Please, someone? You have question? Please ask. No? Yeah. Okay, then just I finished here itself. And next class actually, as it is that Monday, I think 9 to 9:30. Next week actually no missing will be there. And this particular PPT actually I'll send, and the book also I'll send to Utsav. And Utsav, I request you just right now actually in WhatsApp, can you send me your email ID to me? Okay. So that book by Milton Oring I'll send. So you can always that it's good to go through the reference book. And in future, if someone want to, pursue their work in thin film or coating, this Milton Oring book will help you a lot. Okay, this is a very standard book, and in worldwide, most of the top level university they are referring this book, the Milton Oring thin film deposition. Okay, then thank you, and this again that we'll meet on next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.